Jai Sripad Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj ki Jai.
Okay. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatha Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vidham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidhamscha Om Ajnana Timarandasya Gyanajana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhistam Supurakam Guruganaya Rasisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Vedanipanam Shri Rupa Patanudam Govinda Bidam Ujwalam Varatanum Bhaktyan Bidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Shah Divyat Bhagavat Prem Nawai Bijat Pradam Devam Divyatanam Suchandanam Devam Divya Sucham Devam Divya Suchanda Varanam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadeka Varanam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidim Subhakti Lasitam Sarasatanam Baram Bandetam Shubharam Madeka Shananam Nyashishwara Sridharam Banchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Namo Mahabananyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Nama. So before I start the class, we'll just have a shot here of the deities. Everyone can see their lordship Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Jai. Okay. Okay. This is the Madhya-lila, chapter 25. The residents of Varanasi become Vaishnavas. Verse number 200. Ara Krishna nam loite Krishna stani stiti Mahapatakera hoy e prayaschiti. Mahaprabhu is advising Subudhi Rai. When you are situated at the lotus feet of Krishna, no sinful reaction can touch you. This is the best solution to all sinful activity. Maya Agyoraya Vrindavanere Chalila Prayag Ayodhya Diya Nemi Sharanye Aila. Thus receiving the order from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to go to Vrindaban, Subudhi Roy left Varanasi and went through Prayag, Ayodhya, and Nemi Sharanya towards Vrindaban. Katak Divasarai Naimi Sharanye Rohila Prabhu Vrindavana Hoite Prayag Jaila. Subudhi Roy stayed for some time at Nemi Sharanya. During that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Prayag after visiting Vrindaban. Mathura Asiyarai Prabhu Vartapaila Pravura Laga Napaya Mane Boraduka Hoila. After reaching Mathura, Subudhi Roy received information of the Lord's itinerary. He became very unhappy because he was not able to contact the Lord. Shushka Kashta Anirai Beche Maturate Panchachai Pashahoy Ek Bojate. Subudhi Roy would collect dry wood in the forest and take it to the city of Mathura to sell. For each load he would receive 5 or 6 pice. Apane rohe ek paishara chaya chabaya ara paisha baniyastani rakena daria earning his livelihood by selling dry wood, Subhuti Roy would live on only 1 pice worth of chickpeas, and he would deposit whatever other pice he had with some merchant. In those days, there was no banking system like the one now found in Western countries. If one had excess money, he would deposit it with some merchant, usually a grocer. That was the banking system. Subhuti Roy would deposit his extra money with a mercantile man and spend it when necessary. When one is in the renounced order, saving money is not recommended. However, if one saves money for the service of the Lord or a Vaishnava, that is accepted. These are the dealings of Subhuti Roy, who is one of the confidential devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Rupa Goswami also followed this principle by spending 50% of his money in order to serve Krishna through Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. He gave 25% of his money to relatives and 25% he deposited in the custody of a merchant. These are the proved methods recommended in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Whether in the renounced order or in the Grihastha order, a Vaishnava should follow these principles set forth by the previous acharyas. Dukhi Vaishnava deki tare karana bojan, Gaudiya aile dadi bhatta taila mardan. Subhuti Roy used to spend his savings to supply yogurt to Bengali Vaishnavas who came to Mathura. He also gave them cooked rice and oil massages. When he saw a poverty-stricken Vaishnava, he would use his money to feed him. There is a special reference for the maintenance of Bengali Vaishnavas. A Gaudiya Vaishnava is a Bengali Vaishnava. Most of the devotees of Lord Chaitanya at that time were Gaudiyas and Oriyas, inhabitants of Bengal and Orissa. There are still many hundreds of thousands of his followers in Bengal and Orissa. Bengalis are habituated to eating cooked rice as their staple food. When they went to Mathura in the north, they found that the people generally ate chapatis or rotis made of wheat. The Bengalis could not digest this food because they were used to cooked rice. Therefore, as soon as Subhuti Roy saw a Bengali Vaishnava arriving in Mathura, he would try to supply him with cooked rice. Bengalis are also accustomed to taking a massage with mustard oil. In any case, Subhuti Roy wanted to serve the Vaishnavas according to their needs. Therefore, he would supply yogurt to ease the digestion of food eaten in Mathura, particularly the chapatis and rotis made with wheat. Rupa Gosai aile tare bahu priti koila, apana sange loya, dvarashavana dekaila. And so you see from this commentary that most Bengali Vaishnavas, which means Gaudiya Vaishnav, it seems from the commentary, in modern terms, we would say that they did not take gluten. Rupa Gosai aile tare bahu priti koila, apana sange loya dvarashabana dekaila. When Rupa Goswami arrived at Mathura, Subhuti Roy, out of love and affection for him, wanted to serve him in so many ways. He personally took Rupa Goswami to see all the 12 forests of Vrindaban. Srila Rupa Goswami had been a minister in the government of Hussain Shah, and Subhuti Roy was also known to Hussain Shah because as a boy, the Shah had been Subhuti Roy's servant. It appears that Subhuti Roy was elderly, yet while he was living in Mathura, he showed Rupa Goswami the 12 forests of Vrindaban. Mashamantra Rupa Gosai, Rohila Vrindavane, Shigra Chali Aila, Sanatana, Nusandane. Rupa Goswami remained in Mathura and Vrindaban for 1 month in the association of Subhuti Roy. After that, he left Vrindaban to search for his elder brother, Sanatan Goswami. Gangatirapate Prabhu Prayagere Aila Tahashuni Duibai Se Pate Chalila. When Rupa Goswami heard that Mahaprabhu had gone to Prayag on the road along the banks of the Ganges, Rupa Goswami and his brother Anupama went that way to meet the Lord. Eta Sanatana Gosai Prayagi Asya Mathura Ila Sharana Rajapatadiya. After reaching Prayag, Sanatana Goswami, following the order of Mahaprabhu, went to Vrindaban along the public road. This is especially significant because when Sanatana Goswami went from Bengal to Benares, due to the political situation, he did not go along the public road. After meeting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Benares, however, he was ordered to proceed to Vrindaban along the public road leading to Mathura. In other words, he was advised not to fear for his political situation. Because he had been jailed and he was a wanted man, you could say, in Bengal, he was afraid to travel by the public roads because he considered himself like a prisoner of the government. But when he met with Mahaprabhu in Varanasi, which is called now Benares, then Mahaprabhu told him, you don't have to fear any longer. And Mahaprabhu told him he could go by the public road. But because Sanatan Goswami, following the instruction of Mahaprabhu, was proceeding by the public road, and Rupa Goswami and Anupama had gone by the path of the Ganges, they didn't pass each other. They didn't meet each other. Although Sanatan Goswami was going to Vrindaban and Rupa Goswami and Anupama were proceeding from Vrindaban back to Bengal. So they didn't. Mathurate Suburi Rai Tahare Milila Rupa Anupama Kata Sakali Kohila. When Sanatan Goswami met Suburi Roy at Mathura, Suburi Roy explained everything about his younger brother Rupa Goswami and Anupama. Gangapati Duibai Rajapati Sanatan Ateva Tahashani Na Hoilan Milan. Since Sanatan Goswami went along the public road to Vrindaban and Rupa Goswami and Anupama went on the road along the Ganges banks, it was not possible for them to meet. Subudhi Roy Bahu Sneha Kore Sanatane Vyabhara Sneha Sanatana Nahimane. Subudhi Roy and Sanatan Goswami had known each other before accepting the renounced order. Therefore, Subudhi Roy showed much affection to Sanatan Goswami, but Sanatan Goswami hesitated to accept his sentiments and affections. Because Sanatan Goswami, he's a strict sannyasi, and he wants to continue in that way. He doesn't want to be served by Subudhi Roy. He wants to maintain himself in a strict position. Mahavirakta Sanatana Brahmana Bane Bane Prati Brike Prati Kunje Rahe Ratridine. Being very advanced in the renounced order, Sanatan Goswami used to wander from forest to forest, never taking shelter of any habitation made of stone. He used to live under trees or beneath bushes both day and night. Mathura Mahatmya Shastra Sangraha Korea Lupta Tirtha Prakata Koila Banete Brahmaniya. Srila Sanatan Goswami. Srila Sanatan Goswami collected some books about archaeological excavations in Mathura, and wandering in the forest, he sought to renovate all those holy places. Emata Sanatana Vrindavanete Rohila Rupa Gosai Duibai Kashite Aila. Sanatan Goswami remained in Vrindaban, and Rupa Goswami and Anupama returned to Varanasi. Maharashtriya Dvija Shekhar Mishra Tapan Tinjan Saharupa Korila Milan. When Rupa Goswami arrived at Varanasi, he met the Maharashtrian Brahmin Chandrasekhar and Tapan Mishra. Shekarer Gare Basa Mishra Gare Bika Mishra Muke Shune Sanatana Prabhura Sabak Prabhura Saka. Shekarer Gare Basa Mishra Gare Bika Mishra Muke Shune Sanatane Prabhura Shika. When Rupa Goswami was staying at Varanasi, he resided at the house of Chandrasekhar and took prasadam at the house of Tapan Mishra. In this way, he heard of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions to Sanatan Goswami in Varanasi. Kachite Prabhura Charitra Shunit Tinaramuke Sanyasire Kripa Mshuni Paila Borasuke. While staying at Varanasi, Rupa Goswami heard of all Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's activities. When he heard of his deliverance of the Mayavadi sannyasis, he became very happy. Mahaprabhur Uparaloker Pranati Dekiya Suke Hoila Shika Suke Hoila Loka Muke Kirtana Shunya. Mahaprabhur Upara Loker Pranati Dekiya Suke Hoila Loka Muke Kirtana Koriya. When Rupa Goswami saw that all the people of Varanasi respected Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became very happy. He even heard stories about the general populace. When Rupa Goswami saw that all the people of Varanasi respected Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became very happy. He even heard stories from the general populace. Mahaprabhu's fame was so much that just in general people knew about him. Dinadas Rohe Rupa Gode Jatra Koila Sanatana Rupere Charitra Kohila. After staying in Varanasi for about 10 days, Rupa Goswami returned to Bengal. In this way, I have described the activities of Rupa and Sanatan. Eta Mahaprabhu Jani Niladri Chalila Nirjanabana Pate Jaite Mahasuka Paila. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was returning to Jagannath Puri, he passed through the solitary forest, and he received great pleasure in doing so. Suke Chali Aishe Prabhu Balabhadra Sange Purvabat Mrigari Sange Koila Nanarange. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happily translated. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happily returned to Jagannath Puri in the company of his servant Balabhadra Bhattacharya. As previously, the Lord performed many pleasing pastimes with the forest animals. Ataranalate Ashi Bhattacharya Brahmane Padaya Bolaila Nija Bhaktagane. When Mahaprabhu arrived at a place known as Ataranala near Jagannath Puri, he sent Balabhadra Bhattacharya to call for his devotees. When Mahaprabhu arrived at a place known as Ataranala near Jagannath Puri, he sent Balabhadra Bhattacharya to call for his devotees. Shunya Bhakteragan Jena Punarapi Jila Dehi Pranaile Jena Indriya Utila. Hearing news of the Lord's arrival from Balabhadra Bhattacharya, hordes of devotees became so happy that they seemed to be getting their lives back. It was as though their consciousness had returned to their bodies. Their senses also became agitated. Anande Vivala Bhaktagan Dana Aila Narendreya Siya Sabe Prabhure Milila. Being overwhelmed with great pleasure, all the devotees hastily went to see the Lord. They met him on the banks of the celebrated lake named Narendra Sarovara. Puri Bharatira Prabhu Bandilena Charan Dohe Mahaprabhure Koila Prema Alingan. When Paramananda Puri and Brahmananda Bharati met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord offered them his respectful obeisances due to their being godbrothers of his spiritual master. They both then embraced Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in love and affection. That's called Guru Tattva, the godbrothers of one's spiritual master. Damodar Swarup Pandita Gadadhar Jaganananda Kashishwara Govinda Bakrishwar. Devotees like Swarup Damodar, Gadadhar Pandit, Jaganananda, Kashishwar, Govinda, and Vakrishwara all came to meet the Lord. Kashi Mishra, Pradyumna Mishra, Pandita Damodar, Haridas Thakur Ar Pandita, Shankar. Kashi Mishra, Pradyumna Mishra, Damodar Pandit, Haridas Thakur, and Shankar Pandit also came there to meet the Lord. Arasa Bhakta Prabhu Charane Parila, Sabalingiya Prabhu Premavista Hoila. So Kashi Mishra, Pradyumna Mishra, Damodar Pandit, Haridas Thakur, and Shankar Pandit also came to meet the Lord. Arasa Bhakta Prabhu Charane Parila, Sabalingiya Prabhu Premavista Hoila. All the other devotees also came and fell down at the Lord's lotus feet. In return, Mahaprabhu embraced them all with great ecstatic love. Ananda Samudre Bhikka, Ananda Samudre Bhashe Sabhaktagane, Sabaloya Chale Prabhu at Jagannath Darshane. Thus they all merged in the ocean of transcendental bliss. Then the Lord and all his devotees proceeded toward the temple of Jagannath to see the deity. Jagannath Deki Prabhu Premavista Hoila, Bhakta Sange Bahu Krishna Nritya Gita Koila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Lord Jagannath in the temple, he was immediately overwhelmed with love and affection. He chanted and danced with his devotees for a long time. Jagannath Sevaka Ani Naha Prasad Dila Tulasi Pari Chashi Chanana Mandila Jagannatha Sevaka Nitya Jagannatha Sevaka Ani Mala Prasadila Tulasi Parichashi Charana Bandila. The priest immediately brought them flower garlands and prasadam. The temple's watchman, who was named Tulasi, also came and offered his obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu Aila Grame Kolahala Hoila Sarvabhauma Ramananda Bhaninatha Milila. When the news spread that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had arrived at Jagannath Puri. Devotees like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Ramananda Roy, and Vaninath Roy all came to meet him. Sabha Sange Loya Prabhu Mishrabana Aila Sarvabhauma Pandita Gosai Nirmantrana Koila. The Lord and all his devotees then went to the residence of Kashi Mishra. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Pandita Gosai also invited the Lord to dine at their homes. Now that's Sarvabhauma is inviting Mahaprabhu to dine at his home, and also Pandita Gosai is Gadadhar Pandit. He's inviting the Lord. Prabhu Kohe Maha Prasad Ane Estane Sabha Sange Ihanaje Korimu Bojane. Accepting their prasad, accepting their invitation, the Lord asked them to bring all the prasadam there so that he could eat it with his devotees. Tabe duke Jagannath prasada anila Sabha Sange Mahaprabhu Bojana Korila Tabe duhe Jagannatha prasada anila Sabha Sange Mahaprabhu Bhojana Korea. After receiving Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Pandita Gosai, or Damodar Pandit, Pandita Gosai is Gadadhar Pandit. Upon receiving Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Gadadhar Pandit brought sufficient prasadam from the temple of Jagannath. The Lord then dined with everyone at his own place. Eta Kahilun Prabhu Deki Vrindaban Puna Korilena Prabhu Eta Kohilun Prabhu Deki Vrindaban Puna Korilena Jaiche Niladri Gamana. Thus I have described how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to Jagannath Puri from Vrindaban. Ihaje Shradakori Koraye Shravan Achirat Pai E Chaitanya Charan. Whoever hears Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes with faith and love very soon attains shelter at the Lord's lotus feet. Madhya-lila korilun e dig darshan chaivatsara koila jaiche ganga gamana gamana. I've thus given a summary description of the Madhya-lila, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's travels to and from Jagannath Puri. Indeed, the Lord traveled to and fro continuously for 6 years. The fire makes one sleepy. Seisha Ashtadasha Vatsara Nila Chalebas Bhaktagana Sange Kore Kirtana Vilas. After taking sannyas at the age of 24, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived another 24 years. For 6 of these years, he traveled extensively throughout India, sometimes going to Jagannath Puri and sometimes leaving. After traveling for 6 years, the Lord fixed his residence at Jagannath Puri and stayed there for the 18 remaining years of his life. During these 18 years, he mostly chanted Hare Krishna along with his, mainly chanted Hare Krishna along with his devotees. Madhya-lila Krama Ebe Korean Anuvad Koile Hoi Katara Ashram. I shall now review the chapters of the Madhya-lila chronologically so that one can relish the transcendental features of these topics. Pratama Parichede Sesha Lilara Sutragan Tati Madhye Kon Baganera Pratamae Padiche Sesha Lilara Sutragan Tati Madhye Kon Bagera Vistara Varnan. In the first chapter, I have given a synopsis of the last pastime, Madhya-lila. Within this chapter is a vivid description of some of the pastimes of the Lord that took place toward the end of his life. Okay. I think I'm going to end here for today. I know it's a little early, but I keep falling asleep. So I think it'll be hard to, there's only about 40 verses, but I think I'm sometimes saying the wrong word because I'm tired. So I'd rather read them when I'm fresher. So right now I'm just going to sing Hari Haraya, and then I'll end here, and tomorrow it's not very much, just about, it's more or less a resume of the whole Madhya-lila. This is the last chapter, the Madhya-lila. Now we've heard all the Madhya-lila, and now in these last 40 verses, Krishnadas Kaviraj is just going to give a summary, each more or less one verse for almost every for each chapter. And he'll sometimes less, and he'll explain, he'll repeat what he's told in the Madhya-lila. But it'll be only about 40 verses. Normally I could finish that now, but too groggy. So tomorrow I'll do that. In the meantime, Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Charavaya Nama Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Charavaya Nama Jaravaya Maravaya Keshavaya Nama Saravaya Maravaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatham Maranamohan Giridhari Gopinatham Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Garadara Shiva Sari Gora Bhakta Vrinda Garadara Shiva Sari Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasa Raghunath Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasa Raghunath Hey Jai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Hey Jai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jao Hoite Vignana Shavista Puran Hoite Vignana Shavista Puran Hey Jai Gosai Jar Mui Taradas Jai Gosai Jar Mui Taradas Tasabar Bada Renu Mora Panchagras Tasabar Bada Renu Mora Panchagras Kadir Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Kadir Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Janame More Abhilas Janame More Abhilas Hey Jai Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas Hey Jai Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindaban Nande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindaban Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naratamodas Nama Kohe Naratamodas Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Vaishnava Padma Koriyas Narinam Sankirtana Kohe Naratamodas Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Haribo, Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Shayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajaka Charyash Tatara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajaka Charyash Tatara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakshira Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Sanatan Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namachar Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhattadash Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premsago Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Vrindaban Das Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Ki Jai. Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Vishvavaranya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Ram Mayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Srimad Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Koladvip Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Madharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrindaban Dham Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopi Govardhan Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.
Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj Ki.
Yeah.